Embark on your journey, the path you must take. Though hate may surround you, it's not your fate to forsake. Co-creating your destiny in the dance of time. The guiding light within you ignites the sublime. It is the light, the guiding light from the heart and soul. Don't lose control. Let it be the light, shining bright, unlocking potential beyond belief, taking flight. In the depths of your being, the truth resides. Embrace your power, let your spirit rise. With every step forward, you transcend the expanded conscious community we commend. Through trials and triumphs, your soul evolves in the symphony of life, where every note resolves. Listen to the whispers of your inner voice. In unity and love, let your heart rejoice. It is the light, the guiding light from the heart and soul. Don't lose control. Let it be the light, shining bright, unlocking potential beyond belief, taking flight. It is the light, the guiding light from the heart and soul. Don't lose control. Let it be the light, shining bright, unlocking potential beyond belief, taking flight. As we gather together in this sacred space, embracing transformation with grace. Life coach Malachi leads the way in unlocking potential day by day. One faith, embracing transformation with grace. Life coach Malachi leads the way in unlocking potential day by day.
All right. I hope y'all ready. That album's coming out here soon. It's going to be great. All right. It's going to be great. I'll see you here in a second. Oh, I had to close my door. What's up? We're going to get right into this. I'm not going to waste any time because I got something. It's just something I want to deliver to you. I believe that this is something that we could use in this moment. And so, yes. Who's in the building? Who's in the room? Miss Gwen, thank you for coming. We have all of our expanded conscious family here. Yes, Miss Marie, thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you so much. Lindy Russell, greetings. Thank you. This is Caldwell. Yes, yes. Miss Teresa. Miss Imogene. Like, you guys are amazing. And D, you can go for it with all of the comments as they come in. You can do your thing. No matter who you are, where you are right now in this moment, take a deep breath. Breath is life. It's good to breathe in your nose. Bring it and pull it all the way up as high as you can and release. It is us, it's you, it's just only you. For everyone that hears me in this moment, all the things that's going on in the world, everything that's happening, things that are looking to distract us at times, get us off. Just be present in this moment. Be present. Deep breaths in. It's the energy. Everything is energy. Yes. Open your hearts to receive. Sometimes you have to slow down. Slow down and let the music come to you. Let it flow. Let it flow. I get something from the Rosa Crucia order. And I would like to show that. Let me get my screen where it's supposed to be. The Rosicrucian. There's a little thing I would like to show here. In the Rosicrucian order that I got in my email today says, be humanistic. Regard all humanity as your family, beyond race, culture, and belief. All human beings are brothers and sisters. Constantly, they all deserve the same respect and consideration. As we deal with life today and we see the disparities, the things that we all see and deal with in this life. And there are a lot of disparities. Sometimes people want to make it where and feel like we are focusing just on one group of people. But typically, what happens with marginalized groups of people That's the thing. They get marginalized. So, what do we do about it? How do we face it? How do we deal with it? And one of the big things that's coming up today is within religious spaces and circles, what are they doing about it? How are they addressing it? Let me see what happened to my notes here. How are they addressing it? One of the things about expanded consciousness and is that outside of all the woo woo, the spiritual practices and the mysticism and the metaphysical and you know, the occult and the new age and all these different things, we can get it kind of confused. But Teilhard de Chardin says, we are not human beings having a spiritual experience. We are not human beings having a spiritual experience. We are spiritual beings having a human experience. We are spiritual beings first. We are spirit within the body. They say that consciousness just is, and we download the consciousness into us. I say it filters through the brain. And if it filters through the brain, that means that all knowing and everything that is the authentic self, the divine authentic self, is already here, and it has to pass through the filters. It has to pass through the filters of the brain. One of the things that we have in that we understand, and we begin to understand more about this thing we call the brain and the heart and the gut. But one of the things about the brain is its neuroplasticity. The brain is plastic. It's the brain and its ability to reorganize and adapt by forming new neural connections and changing existing ones. I have a reel coming out on Instagram of a neuroscientist that states that when you do things such as mindfulness, meditation, when you watch shows like this, educational, spiritual, there's a sacredness to it. You can begin to rewire your brain. So if you're deconstructing, or if you're looking to question the question in your life, neuroplasticity, there's something about the brain. I call it the filter. As we go through life, figuring out different things about life and how life is, we create these categories. We're finding out there's things that you can experience, and it can cause a mental mind wound when someone questions or puts a damper on your reality, maybe cause some level of pain to your physical body and also mental body. They have discovered a word called trauma. We have words, lots of words, and tonight we're going to get into words. But one of the things about neuroplasticity that they have discovered also is that the same way you can change neural connections, changing the existing connections, we can even go deeper and get into epigenetics, which is the changing of the genes. So you could begin to change your mind today. The brain can begin to rewire, and it can begin to actually affect your DNA structure of your body, lengthening the telomeres, right? And the telomeres in the helix, that's what happens when we age. You lose some of the DNA. I'm telling you, the things that you get that are not only just positive, but things that are causing you to question and ask questions about your life and to begin to rethink some things is adding life to your life. But scientists have come out to say that if you watch news on a daily basis and if you get negative news on a daily basis, you will wire yourself to want to receive the negative. You could begin to deal with the most deadly killer on the planet. No, it's not somebody walking around with a gun. It's not even the foods you eat and the things that we would typically believe. Heart disease, cancer, accidents. But the number one killer that we can't necessarily pinpoint and say that's the cause is that's stress. What is stress? When your cortisol levels begin to be high. There's a story that I always repeat of the gazelle. When the gazelle is out gracing the land, goes to get something to drink, and it's grazing the land, and all of a sudden its instincts realizes that it's being chased and it is becoming food, possibly food. What are the instincts for predators? The body changes, the cortisol goes up, the animal goes into this instinct, fight, flight, freeze, right? That's us. They go into pretty much fight or flight, right? They're going to take off. Body is just going to do what it's going to do. Brain does what it's going to do. The thing is the minute that it realizes that the threat is no longer, it will go back to grazing the land, and all of the body levels will return back to normal. But with human beings, that is not what happens. Our body chemistry, our cortisol levels, everything begins to remain the same, even without the threat. And then when you add news, more news, politics, and religion on top of it all, your body, your mind never takes a break from the stress. Even if you are doing something like a job or running a business, if you don't develop a practice, if you don't develop an understanding that you have to learn to or remember that peace is here, peace is possible. It's time that we realize that some of the things that we have done in the past, over the last millennia plus, things we held sacred and did sacredly. Do you know it is a sacred thing to go to sleep? You die a little bit. It's a sacred thing to go to bed. How do you prepare yourself to go to bed? How do you wash off the day? How do you let go? These are the things that are very important. Rumi says, remember the entrance door to the sanctuary inside you. This is expanded consciousness. This is expanding, hopefully waking us up to realize and understand that we have power. We have so much power. Tonight, we're going to journey beyond the boundaries of belief into the vast expanse of the direct experience. That's what mysticism is. We're not here to debate doctrines or dogmas. We're here to explore the essence of consciousness and the fabric of our being. And one of the things that has come across, and I really know that it needs to be addressed, and that is the language, the semantics, the words, right? One thing I want you to know, there's ways and things that you do to deconstruct your beliefs. There's things that you do to add to what you believe. Some of the things that you believe are not true. Just like me. But some of the things you know within this reality, and you know deep down, no matter what, on all levels of dimensions, one of the persons or people that you will know if you were minimally raised around them. You know, a father is someone that you know through context. You know your father through context. I've been around him all my life. I've seen him all my life. But there's something about a mama. There's something about the mother. It's something about being birthed out of the mother's womb that creates a connection to who you are and who she is and who she is to you. You know your mama. You don't believe your mama. You know your mama. Now it's time that we know ourselves. So I don't need to get you or try to convince you to believe anything. I'm here to remind you that you already know something. There's something inside you that recognizes truth, not because it was taught to you, but because it was written in your soul long before the world gave it a name. I'm telling you, get out a pen and paper, because this is going to resonate with you if it hasn't already. We get things from the consciousness, and things can be revealed to us. But on this first part, I would like to talk to you about the elephant in the room, or the elephant in the temple, the elephant in the sanctuary. You know, it has been said to me about starting a church. And the thing about organized religion is organized religion. And the thing is, organization is organization, institution is institution. And I am not afraid of what an institution does. I believe in, and I don't believe in, I know systems work. Systems are a part of who we are. It's just when the system goes bad or when the system goes awry, when we begin to have issues, right? We have issues. So a system would be flying in a plane. That's a system, right? This call, that's a system. This podcast, right? I'm using systems, thank God for them, in order to make this happen this evening. 8:30, I'm gonna press the live button. But let's talk about the elephant in the room. Words like God, woke, see if we can ring some bells. Diversity, spirituality, consciousness, even quantum have become loaded and thrown out there. Many of these words are co-opted and they're used to weaponize against who we are. Not to question, not to think, not to even embrace and ultimately embody the words we speak. God has been a trademark for the institutional religion and structure prior to what we have, especially in the Western world. It was still pretty mystical. It was still more of a wonder and what is it? But that's a word that has been trademarked. They own it. And if you say it, they're going to come for you. Even a word like woke, WOKE. Woke was a soul cry for Black consciousness. It was placed in a song. People were getting murdered and killed. It was a time that not too far that after whenever that song came out and people start speaking of woke and then they start speaking of being relevant or thinking or listening, the HBCUs, the historical Black colleges, of course, are doing some work when it came to the institution and the education of learning. The number one thing that has been attacked by the powers that be is our institutions that allow us to expand our consciousness. Stay behind me, folks. Stay behind this. This is not a religious per se institution that I am looking to develop. I would lean more closer to a mystical school, somewhere where we can contemplate, learn, ask questions, grow, get into all things from business to wellness to understanding how we are to get along. But woke as a far cry, a soul cry for Black people has been demonized. Demonized. The weapons of the 60s, the 50s, the fire hoses, the dogs, has turned into words. Turned into words that have a greater power because it gets involved with your thinking. And not the thinking of the people that understand what the word is, but the thinking of the people that don't understand how to think critically. And we already know the number one way where we will get you with the language, one of the greatest technologies that we've had, but we are still working on, is language. No different than how we interpret or think on the sacred scriptures or text, any text. There's no way that we can really fully embrace and learn, adapt, adopt, and get into what it actually meant. It has been translated too many times. And not only that, when it was originally even scribed, it was many years past. What's the point? It's to attack your mind and to get you to do what they believe. Diversity. It was meant to reflect the cosmic truth that we are not all the same, and it shouldn't be. We're not all the same in the context of the 3D world, this way we function. But in the essence of consciousness and in the essence of the oneness, we're the same. We are the universe expression itself through us. But now it's a political catchphrase, and it's used to demonize, and it's used to put people against each other. It's the most dumbest thing ever in my lifetime. Is that the marginalized group of people is somehow going to take position, fly a plane, cut somebody open like a surgeon, and not have the qualifications to do such. And I love the word quantum. I love the word consciousness. But you're starting to see them slapped on t-shirts and inside apps, and you're seeing them everywhere. And so therefore the depth of what it is and understanding what it is, because it's beyond all of those things. God, woe, diversity. That's how we're able to be, do, and understand. It's like spirituality and thought meets physics, meets the ability to create the material sciences. But as I say all that, the problem is not the words. It is that we stopped living what the words pointed to. Language was never meant to be fixed. Language was never meant to be fixed. It's a living and it's evolving. The work is not to argue about what something means, but it's to understand how to embody it. It's to understand how to connect. It's a big issue. Words. Whew. Consciousness as a controlled hallucinations. we don't know it, but we live in this world and we can make drastic improvement and changes just by changing the way we think. That is, it's like life and death and the power of the tongue, but as a man thinketh, so is he. What comes first? What you think. What you think before what you say. Because if you think it's something and then you turn around and say something, it's almost like solidifying what you thought. But if we go on the thing that says, as a man thinketh, so is he, you need to be monitoring, measuring, wondering, connecting to how you are thinking. How you are thinking. Humans name what they don't understand. We think if we name something, we control it. So if you put that name God in a book, we put God in a book, we put spirit in a ritual, put consciousness in a curriculum. But there is a paradox, folks. The force doesn't need our permission to move. We still need this language. We need it. If we don't have it, we're in trouble. It's just the fact that if we run, and I'm dealing with this, but if we run from the words, if we run from the words because of the meaning and the context has been shifted based on propaganda and has been moved and based on what people have rewired their minds to believe, we'll have to discover new ways of trying to comprehend or understand. It's the reason why most people don't want to go to a church. And if you go to a church, you have like, if you've been through something, you may have an ickiness. If you like our friend Miss Rose, who has had an experience at a very dogmatic and very structured, very hard, one of the hardest churches in terms of how they manipulate and literally overtake the mind. The term indoctrination, as it's thrown out there to everybody, and now what's happening is we having the reversal of the understanding of words. And remember, that's scriptural too. Taking what's bad is good, but taking what's bad and making it good, and what's good is making it bad. So now people are talking about reverse racism, thinking that racism just means color. The way we look at racism in America is quite different than how you look at racism in a lot of other countries. Now we want to feel like if a black person doesn't like a white person and they become racist, like they have some level of power, and they don't. They'll be selling themselves short. That's a whole nother conversation. But the thing about language, in when we understand the expansion of consciousness, as I say, beyond belief, it is designed to awaken some part of you. We need language. Language is the greatest gift that we have. And that language is what we use even inside our own minds. We use language because we're storytellers, we're meaning makers. So we're watching a culture and a generation rename, unname at the same time. Some of us are deconstructing God. Some of us are reclaiming our metaphysics and our mysticism. And as I like to do, we discover the quantum physics and what that means and how we're able to really tap into something outside of ourselves and begin to shape our reality, begin to shift our reality. I don't need to pray what is already done. I don't need to worry or tarry about something that I know that I have the ability to move through my thoughts, through my heart, through my not watching the news so that my brain doesn't wire itself to believe all of that. You need to just stay up abreast of what's going on. Believe me, in today's time, you're going to know. You just don't have to be the first one to know. It's okay to go into contemplation and to move yourself out of the spaces mentally. And this is the reason why I have retreats that are going to begin to take shape locally. It's so that we can understand that we need to have a moment of time of a sacredness to drop off, right? Clear the mind, clear the brain, clear the heart. Bang, 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 bang. Go, 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 go. Other people out there are saying, you know what, man, I don't care what it's called. I don't care what it is. Whether I go here, I go to church, I just want something real. And what does real mean? Really, they like the sacredness of going to church. They like the emotional feeling and the expression because we've been doing it a while. One thing they don't really care for, a lot of people don't care for, is the silence or the emotions being silent. Breathing, taking in. A lot of people can't meditate. They can barely do guided meditation, let alone doing a silent meditation. And what does that say about us? Oh, I just can't do it. Oh, yeah, that's okay. It is okay. It's okay until it's not okay. There's going to be silence within you. It happens every time you go to sleep. We don't need new words. New words will develop, but we don't need necessarily new words. We need new ways of knowing. Less doctrine and more direct experience that can say, whoa. Next week, Drone Braggs is going to be on the show. I'll tell you the story later, but it's a gentleman that has had multiple NDEs, and it was revealed to him on what his purposes were. When people talk about the various NDEs that they had, right? And one of the things I'll tell you is I don't care if you had an NDE or OBE, out of body experience, or if you had ayahuasca, or if you had psilocybin mushrooms, or even cannabis. I don't care what you've had. Or if you just had a big dose of the Holy Spirit. If it doesn't guide you and give you some direction of where to go, where to be, how to be, how to love, how to create, how to connect, it's pointless. And one of the things is we'll find out every person that I've had a conversation with that has had a authentic NDE personally, and that I see, they end up usually getting some level of direction and understanding something about their life. I'm gonna move through this a little quicker because this is a whole lesson that boy, I can go on. It's a big lesson. Going back to the words, um, in this section, we're going to briefly talk about collapsing dualism, right? Everything, where everything meets, right? God is a word, but the force behind it is what the reality and the shift of what we really want. That's what we want to understand. Dualism. We're watching dualisms crumble, and that is religious versus the secular, science versus the spirit, belief versus knowing. You know, like the atheist feels the presence of something greater, but don't have any vocabulary for it. They can't say spirit, or they can't say Holy Spirit. They can't say God. Some are starting to realize and understand that whenever they hear some people speak that can be coming from a Christ mind or a Christ consciousness, or in the essence of what they have been uh, taught or relearned on when it comes to Christ. And what does it mean? And they're like, well, I can get down with that. I may not go to church, but I'll get down with what you got going on. A lot of them devout questions their faith. A lot of them questions their faith, the atheists, but then they have no safe place or safe space to land. Me, as the mystic, we live in between, naming really nothing but seeing everything, living for the experience and connecting. I'm realizing and understanding that we have no choice necessarily, um, if we want to have some level of impact. But this is where expanded consciousness comes in. Expanding or expanded consciousness is the bridge for the binaries. It doesn't replace them, but we go beyond them. We don't know what we don't know, but we do know. If we don't know what we if we know that we don't know everything, but we know that how we got to where we are is by discovering what we don't know and then figuring out a way to apply what we don't know as we discover what we don't know and we begin to apply it. That's science. We smoked and smoked and smoked in malls and smoked and everywhere and just was smoking our ass off as humans everywhere in a freaking plane. And somebody, as they really begin to crack the system, the money system, and the propaganda, and these big companies that were making billions of dollars off of it. Once we were able to shut them suckers down to the point where it's like, no longer are you going to get the opportunity to play humans like a fool. And was like, you know, the smoking is killing us. What is killing us today, like our food, in America specifically. But more importantly, what we're going to find out is all this propaganda, all of this constant banging on our heads, all of this this constant rush and push of dopamine. That's a whole nother conversation, whole nother talk on how we're going to find out what is going what is happening to the human essence and human beings, right? Especially when we have been indoctrinated for so long with the same old song. And we will expand, and we are here to begin that process. It's been going on, right? It's been going on. Growth work, expanding our awareness and spiritual work, that's been going on for a long time. But I think we've hit a real serious pivot point, because everyone has access to information now more than ever. And now that AI, or intelligence that is computerized, has been widely available, we have a whole new way of being able to understand, be, and plus witness some crazy things that are just going to wow people, and they're going to be like, oh my God. But what I want us to know, that it's time that we move from belief, this inherited belief, to this earned knowing, the knowing that we know that we know. And if we don't know, we can just say we don't know, versus just saying, well, I believe. I'm going to tell you straight up, how much of the percent of belief is inherited? Tell me. Passed down fear, trauma, the colonial system, childhood Sunday school. How much of this inherited stuff, and we want to keep it going? And if we don't keep it going, especially within the African American and Black culture, it's almost a disrespect if you don't keep it going. A lot of it. I I always get hit with this praise dancing. And praise dancing, as I've talked to my dear friend and amazing operations person, Deidre, Coach Deidre, we have conversations. And one of the things is praise dancing. It's, when I was growing up, through the 80s and 90s, we didn't do it every single Sunday on the dot. Now I think it's like an emotional thing that you must do, right? Because you can do it. Musicians fire it up, you praise dance, and of course I think that you can compare somewhat those things to the African experience. Um, but I think now, if you was to actually put some science to it, some data to it, you would see that that is something that they want to do. They like doing. It's a dopamine rush. We call it God. And it may have some effects on the body that could be positive, but ultimately, how much juice do you get out of that squeeze of that lemon? Is it like, oh my God, this is so powerful, in the sense that I'm able to get a new job and I'm able to change this? I'm able to, if it's true, it's true. But we know a lot of it is just done through emotions. But it's inherited, it's passed down. I'm going to tell you that knowing something is earned, though. You know how much you get to know by the way of silence? Your breath, Your breath is one of the greatest things in the function of the human being. Breath. When you sweat, the presence of who you are. Hmm. We got to choose to love. We got to learn to shift. Remember who we are. I believe in God versus I know there's a force in me I can't explain, but I'm tapping into it. I'm tapping into it. It's a practice. It's a feeling, and you have to learn how to feel the feeling and learn how to shift. You know the old saying, I'm spiritual but not religious? I'm a living being. I'm a living temple because I don't need a brand. I don't need a particular flavor. I am the church. So, what do we do with all this? What do we do with all this? We embody it, we become it. Okay. You don't need everyone to agree on what God means. I promise you. There are 8 billion people on this planet, and technically, you can have 8 billion gods. Every one of us has an individual God. What do you mean? What do you mean? I am in my head alone. I am with myself alone. And the only way that I can hear of or feel or connect to God is through my ability to use my mind or my heart and my beingness in to understand, like, what does that mean to me? So when you go to church per se, everybody has agreed that the God that they are actually there to perform for, to represent, or to connect to is aligned with everyone in there for the most part, and the order. They need each other when you go into a place like that with all the lights and all this and all that, because that is God. They don't understand, but that is God to them. The book, the songs, the hands in the air, the clapping. We define that as God because you can't necessarily pinpoint it outside of the stories. So you don't need everyone to agree on what God means, because if I was to go into China, if I was going to Japan, if I was going to the Middle East somewhere, if I go into India, that's a lot of things that we're going to pick up from the inheritance. Pentecostalism, which has spread like wildfire, is basically comes from a big marketing machine that I was involved with, which you are seeing right now. Gospel Hollywood is what Carlton Pearson would call it. Because you throw on the camera, you throw on the lights, you throw on all this, and you come up with all your stuff. And people are like, I like that. I want to be a part of that. I'd rather go to that church than this church. And so therefore you got Gospel Hollywood, right? You get, it's, to me personally, it's not just from the growth based on the fact of the spirit. It's really the growth based that fact on marketing. And it is fun, and the music's fun, and it's like a lot of energy. I mean, it's full of dopamine. If you imagine if it was real silent, I grew up where they'd be like, man, that church is dead. Look at all those people. They're dead. Like, they need to be doing X, Y, and Z to glorify God. Like, personally, I don't think God really cares, because I don't necessarily know the same person. That's who you believe in. So be it. We can't get everyone to agree. But using the word, if it still moves you, that's fine. Drop it if it doesn't. But believe beyond the word. Believe beyond the word. Understand beyond the word. Source, higher self. Outside of us, it's like an energy, if you will. So if you say God is the breath of me, that's fine. So be it. God is the breath of me. Spirit is the intelligence that tells me that tells the trees when to bloom. Consciousness is the field that holds everything, including you. I personally connect to consciousness not as a God, but as a force and energy, where if there is the grand source that we would call God, which is, I think, all-encompassing, not just a deity in one person, it is possibly something that allows us to be on this planet, leave this planet, and continue to do what we've been doing on this planet. And one thing we have to do is continue to grow. We have to continue to understand, and we got to continue to look out and love one another. Let your presence do the teaching, not your arguments. Let your presence be what calls people to understand. Let your experience trump the identity of who you believe that you are. We don't necessarily need more gurus, teachers, Sanskrit. But we do need more guides to experience all the problems and things that you may be facing today. Stop cursing them. Stop saying that they're bad, and understand that maybe you had something to do with it. When you can embody and say, okay. What am I here to learn? See, when you feel the force for yourself, when you feel the life force for yourself, you stop needing to believe altogether. That's why meditation matters to me. That's why my breath work matters to me. That's why my movement matters to me. And if you have other experiences, as I've known a lot of people to have experiences on hallucinogens or various things, if that's something that has integrated in someone's lives, what does it say? What does it do? How are you living as an example? You don't manifest what you want, you manifest who you are. Who are you? It's not a fight with religion, it's a fight with reality. So, what do we do with all this? What do we do? This is where all of our work, my work, your work, and all of the community comes in to play. When I think about the Institute of Expanded Consciousness, I have music that I'm formulating, affirmation music. Of course, I do coaching and this talk. It's a container where we can stop debating what's true and start living like it is, discovering, not just reading to read, which is fine, but also hopefully reading something that can bring us peace, that can bring us understanding, that can move things away and start revealing more to us. This space is for the mystic. This space is for the scientist. This space is for the Christian or ex-Christian. This space is for the non-believer. It's for the atheist. It's for the burnt out seeker. The one who knows and the one that can explain. That's enough. The display of power in and for your life is a force, folks. The display of power in and for your life is a force. Can we say that's God? It's within you. I'll go as far as to say it's within you and without you and all that is. Of course, it's not a man in the sky. I don't know where and how we got lost on something so silly, but it just is. Not a religion, of course, but it's the power, it's the quiet power of someone walking in alignment with their inner truth. There's an inner truth and an inner knowing, and I believe it is peace, love, joy, long suffering, forgiveness. To be. No longer do I have to convince anyone. You don't have to convince anyone. I am not here to convince you to believe me because I don't believe me. I know me. I'm beginning to know me. There's no convincing needed when we know the love of God. It's within us all. It's here for you. You just got to learn how to let go, allow, and find time to be at peace. Understanding the design of the body, design of the mind, or the brain physically, the neuroplasticity and the rewiring of the brain and the synapses is not metaphorical. It is not even a thought, it is actual physical. You can connect devices to the brain and begin to see the shift. There's meditations and things that you can do that you can see the shift that is happening as you break through and become the divine, authentic self. You don't have to just become it, you already are it. But to realize and to awaken may require some shaking. I'm not here to convince anyone. Just to live so boldly, so authentically, so freely that you become the new scripture. Why does it have to be that the sacred time of when scripture was written, that is the only time that we had a moment or an embodiment that God could leave some words, some ideas, or some concepts? You are the word made flesh. You are the breath and the breathless. You're not a follower of Christ, but a frequency. Realize you follow Christ. No, I am the frequency. The power within. It's not about leaving God. It's about going deeper than what language can ever, ever, ever do to carry us. It's about connecting to your divine self. It's not about learning, but remembering. How do I remember? How do I remember? I promise you, it comes in the silence. It comes in the being. Remember that song? Oh, that was the Richard Smallwood's prayer that he had. Let the words of my mouth, let the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart be acceptable in thy sight. Will I teach me how to serve thee? Will thou teach? I don't have to lose it all. We know what we meant. We know what we want. We know what the church wants today. And really, they just want relationship. And what they don't know is you don't need relationship with God. You already are a relationship. You are a relationship. It's inside you, it's through you. It's time to be it. For anyone that's listening and watching right now, I want you to understand and know that there are circumstances that you may be facing. And you have to ask yourself, how do I want to deal with it? How am I going to deal with it? How am I dealing with it? How are you dealing with it? When the church wants to call people witches and call them warlocks and new age and all that, I get it. King James wrote the book on it before he had the Bible put together. I take the labels of being a person that has the ability to perform levels of magic. If you understand alchemy, you are divine. You are the divine one. You are a co-creator of the world. God is not outside of you. God is within you. You have the ability to move, shake, be, become. It's time to do it, to live it without anything. Just you. Potions and lotions and trinkets and toys, and I love it all. It's fun. Symbols. Symbols that we use to help us vibrate in frequency to heal the body. This is cannabis sativa L, or it's derived from hemp. There's many discoveries that we had to rediscover because we already known about it. This is blended with coconut oil, a little bit of peppermint in it. But we have found out, and we know that CBD, cannabidiol, and this has full spectrum. So there's other things that's involved with this as a plant. This plant comes, and it's part of the earth. This is just a CBD, full spectrum. There's really hardly any THC, tetrahydrocannabinol. Delta 9 is the one that's specific that we would think about when it comes to marijuana. But there's other things in cannabinoids, CBD, CBG, CBC, CBN. The one that discovered that is Dr. Raphael Mechoulam. I had the opportunity, he died not too long ago, and I had an opportunity to have an email with him. And it was kind of neat to meet the man that actually discovered the molecule and the structure and what happens when we ingest CBD. He discovered tetrahydrocannabinol, which is THC. He also discovered CBD. This has the ability to do things to our body if it's good, right? Good meaning is processed well, and you know that's a really good CBD. I know it is because I manufactured it. I like it. I use it. I got other people that use it. So we do have tools. We do have things. Food is a medicine. I'm getting involved with a guy that actually operates a plant-based restaurant because the consciousness aligns. Even the soda that I drink. Olipop is a cleaner soda, prebiotic, plant-based, 2 grams of sugar, natural. Do you think that you need to change your ingest and what you take in order to actually be a better alchemist? Try it. The church does all of these things. The witches that were burned at the stake, a lot of them were women and kids. Wonder why. You know, they were said not to cut open a body because the spirits would come out. And it's amazing all the stupid stuff that we've done in the past. And then we carry on with the stupidness of what something could be or is today. So, whatever you're dealing with, whatever you're facing, you could be mystical. You know? You could be mystical. You have the ability to be more amazing now than ever. There are people right now alchemizing, becoming something greater, dropping the labels. As a guy I follow says, the matrix trauma bond tie. Like we're tied into these traumas. We're tied into this ADHD. We're tied into these. And you know what? It's time that we begin to understand I'm pure divine. I'm pure divine. I can move. I can be. I can breathe and move into a whole new realm and begin to shape shift and take my whole life into a new direction. And I can become a master. And when people see you, they say, stay away from them. Or privately, I'm going to go see them. I'm gonna go over there and see them because that's what happened with all your church friends and all the people around. Whenever they see that you're starting to alchemize and they seeing that all your woo-woo shit is working, like, wait a minute, what's going on? Like, what are they doing? Like, Because I've been doing this for a long time, and you know what? We're suffering. They say that it's a really interesting statistic, and I don't know how to judge it, but I read it today, and it said that 98% of Black clergy Protestants are are the biggest believers in God, when 89%, and lower. Like, it's just an interesting statistic to me on how much, not that we, especially Black people, believe in God compared to everyone else, but how much we do versus everyone else, and where we are today. Sorry. Where we are today. I mean, seem like out of all this stuff that we have going on, right? Especially churches, it really worked to help us get through, right? In the slavery and everything else. I guess it did. That's all we had. So how will we know if letting everybody go to an HBCU would have been highly affected or not, right? So all we know is the fact that we had the scriptures and had the Bible in order to get out, and then we had our spiritual songs, and it's like, oh, it helped us through. Well, I mean, what else could we do? It wasn't like you can. Drum up and do African spirituality and see if it could be more effective for breaking through, which we know for a fact that they was doing all kinds of hoodoo and escaping using hoodoo. Frederick Douglass's whole, whenever he got out of slavery and then they try to put him back in slavery, if you read Frederick Douglass's story, someone gave him a stick of some sort and he put it in his pocket and he never got caught again. Alchemy. The High John root. Alchemy. Alchemy was changing lead into gold. They tried to change lead into gold. Alchemy is how we come up with basically our modern day physics. Next week, I'm going to have, I pulled up his picture, but I'll just show you here. Yep, this guy here, that is his NDE story. This is why you are here. That's the NDE story. This is why you're here. Look, that's Deidre. This is why you're here. Dying man is sent to heaven where he is shown the truth about the human soul. He's coming on next week. I met him at the forest accidentally, if you will. Nah, we can't say that, right? We take that back. I met him at the forest last year, Osage Forest of Peace, which I'm going to have a retreat there and bring everybody, at least 10 people. But he was there with a group of it was a professional gay men's organization. And I mean, like, the organization is nationwide, but they had like 10 leaders come in. And he was the one that ran the operation as far as the retreat and with the leaders and teachers. I made some wonderful guys. Met him last year, pulled up on my phone a month ago, and seeing like, oh my God, I know this guy. That's Jerome. Went on my phone, got his number, was like, I got to get you on the show. And so here we are. He's going to be on the show next week. It's going to be amazing. Deidre is strategically helping me and so that we can know some of the shows that are going to be happening. The album is, I'm going to release it on the 19th. You're going to hear some things like I'm about to really hit it hard with social media. I would like for you to like and share. There's going to be some little special things that go along with it, so that you can enjoy it. I guarantee you, when you hear it all, it's going to be so amazing. Like, I didn't listen to it and listen to it and listen to it, and I haven't gotten tired of it. Like, it'll shift you, right? We're working on some actual radio interviews. I think I have at least two that are happening. We'll get that out to you guys so you can see the radio interviews. And let's see, Miss Deidre, what's up? What's up? What do we have? How you doing? What do we have going on here? Do we have any
Good
comments?
evening. Yeah, good evening. We don't really have too many comments. I try to keep them going
Okay, good.
throughout the
Stream.
talk. Yeah,
Yeah.
throughout the stream. I mean, it was just such a good talk, an essential talk. And I think that the more you start just flowing in, that true mystical gift that you have, sometimes we just gonna take it all in and we may not have much to say. And that's not a bad thing.
No, yeah.
That's not a bad thing at all.
What's your comments?
My comments?
Come on.
In today's climate, I keep reflecting about how um, our language from our ancestors was stripped from us.
Mm,
Like we had to hide communicating with one another
mm,
in our native tongue. And
mm,
so when you talked about language and how significant it is and how language shouldn't be changed, I just think about how we've had to become very creative
mm,
as a people and how we communicate. I think within our culture, sometimes a certain look and the other person knows what the other person is saying without
mm,
because and it's because we had to do that to survive. I think it just telling of the power of the human spirit. It's the power of the human spirit. You forbid people, you strip them from their land, you forbid them to speak in their native tongue, you take their name away from them, yet they still have a way to communicate with one another. There are things that universally we do in our culture, and everybody's like, how do we just instinctively know that? And I think it's just a testament to the power of the human spirit. I really do. That's what really kind of resonated with me. And I think that's why expanded consciousness is so important, because you can look past all the dogmas and just really understand the resilience and the creativity of the human spirit through any trauma, any situation, how that human spirit can just evolve, become creative. And just like you said, with the neuroplasticity, the brain can come up with ways to get things done. If it hits a roadblock because of trauma, it can find a new way to get things done. And I think that's the beauty of this journey of expanded consciousness, is that we can just keep asking these questions, dig deep, look at the science, look at the data, look at the mysticism behind certain things, and it all goes together. I think that's beautiful.
mm.
Those are my 2 cents.
It's beautiful. I love it. I love it. Oh man, it feels so good. It feels so good.
Yeah. Oh, I see Ms. Dolores just put up a comment. Absolutely. And I think that's a life lesson for everybody, no matter what you go through. And if you feel like you're at your end, it's like, no, that's just a seed for something else great to come later. So this is why we are here carrying on Bishop's legacy, because that's how you don't give up in the midst of everything. We can look at his life as an example. Even in his lowest times, there was something that still made him get up every day. And now we're here to carry on the journey.
Mm. Yes, yes. So much. Ooh, that's good.
Yeah.
It's really good. Well,
Let's see. Yes, Coach was speaking about a couple of things, but I want to make sure you guys have ways to connect with us and ways to give back to Coach and give back to the community.
Oh,
There are, the amount of time, the emotional labor alone that people, that Coach puts into this. He doesn't do this, as a moneymaker per se, but we do not want to forget the fact that the emotional labor does have a cost to it. So if you want to sew in for Cash App, that's the Cash App hashtag Malachi Gross. He also has a Venmo. And on Venmo, it's at Malachi-Gross. And of course, if you want to join our Patreon community, where you get some additional content throughout the week, meditations, just another level of community. And we also have bi-weekly Saturday gatherings where we can kind of dig deep and hold space for one another. That is Patreon, patreon.com/expanded consciousness community. But I'm really excited for the next couple of weeks. Next week, we have Jerome Bragg's. June 19th is Juneteenth. I'm sure we'll have something special for Juneteenth, but we're celebrating the release of Beyond Belief. And then on June 26th, I will be hosting. Topic, it'll be a mystery. It'll be a mystery. Yeah.
I think I might have you getting in that divine feminine stuff. I don't know.
We might.
We'll see.
Listen, it's all. Coach.
Yeah.
Mother White wants to know: do you have
Zelle? I think it's. I don't. Yeah, I think it's just the number, isn't it?
It might be. Is it just your okay?
Yeah.
Mother White, I'll message you that information. Yeah, I'll message you that, Mother White, if that's okay, since it's Coach's personal number. If that's okay, yeah. What is Miss? You have to be the, but you grow through cash. Oh, that's cute. That's cute. Where are the links for networking? Just gives me. Okay, let me put that back up for you, or let me just take this off and then you can see it. It is. Hold on, let me get the banner.
Oh yeah, I need to get that posted on the sites and stuff.
Yeah, we'll put that on the site for you as well.
Yeah.
Let's do this, but it is patreon.com/expanded consciousness community. And let me make sure I didn't miss anybody else's question. Oh, reminder.
Oh.
If you know, you know.
I was yeah.
Reminder.
I was on a test there, and I was like, "Oh my god, I gotta print that label." It's in my card too.
Okay, Miss Gwen, I got it. If he had a printed label, I got it. Don't worry, we got you. And this is why I love my brother. He's great. We make a good team.
I might have to give up if I don't have you.
No, we don't give up. We don't give up.
If I don't have you, man,
we don't give up.
Huge. You're huge in this process.
Grateful for the journey. We got this.
Well, cool. I guess that's a wrap until next week.
Yes.
I can get in here and I'll probably go eat something.
How about that? Hydrate, eat.
And so, all right, guys, I really appreciate you. I guess we will see you next week. All right. Y'all have a good one.
Miles of sermons and signs, told who I was, what to believe, how to walk the line. Kneeled at the altar, searching for grace, but all I found was fear wrapped up in faith. But something deep inside kept calling me. A whisper in the dark said you are free. Not in the rules, not in the chains, but in the love that calls my name. Learning to love myself, trust myself, even when I think I'm wrong. Learning to be set free, learning to be, learning just to be. No longer